Institute of Engineering and Technology. This is a photovoltaic effect in the solar cell. Basically, the device is a solar cell, but the basic terminology or the basic effect that is working behind it is the photovoltaic effect. So, let us understand what is the photovoltaic effect. So, basically, photovoltaic effect is defined as it was first discovered by Edmund Becquerel in 1839. Hello guys, this is Assistant Professor Nimesh Das here from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today's session that we will be discussing that is photovoltaic effect and the solar cell. Now basically photovoltaic effect is actual concept working behind the solar cell. So before we start exploring it, let us understand the history of it. So it was first discovered by Edmund Becquerel in 1839. The generation of the voltage and the electric current upon the exposure of light. So this was first discovered by this person, and he discovered what? That voltage and current was generating without any supply by the help of the light. So now what is this concept? You can see in the diagram that here you can see an N region is there and a P region is there. Okay, and as the light in the context of photon is getting on that P-N junction, what is happening? In that junction, electrons are actually generated, and that electrons, if you connect a load across, what will be there? It will be flowing through it. Okay, so the photovoltaic effect takes place in the devices like a solar cell that are composed of what? That are composed of the p-type and n-type semiconductors. So what happens actually when a light of suitable wavelength is incident on this cells, energy of the photon is transferred to the p-n junction, right? This energy causes the electrons to energy level leaving behind the hole, and this creation the electron hole pair leads to the flow of the current. And when you get that load of the current, flow of the current, that is when you are connecting across the load. So from that load, that flow is conducted. So now the solar cell. What is a solar cell? Basically, it is an electrical device that converts the energy of light directly into the electricity by the photovoltaic effect. So basically what it does, it is nothing but you can also show that it is a transducer. It converts the one form of the energy, that is light, into the another form, that is nothing but your electricity. So it is a simple p-n junction card that is made up of the semiconductor material. So now let's go with the construction of it. Now construction is very simple. You have got the p-n junction right there. Okay, and you have seen that electrodes are connected in the form of metal for the better connectivity. Okay. Better connectivity as well as better conductivity. These metal strips are used just above the p and n junction. In that you have also got that reflective probe film is there, that is actually generating, what is that? It is actually getting you concentrate more amount of the photons on it. Okay, and it is across connected with the load. Why we require that electron flow through the load? That's why we have constructed this. That's why we have taken this load into the consideration. Okay, now let's see the practical word of that. That you can see that instead of that now metal electrode that was on the top, we are taking the strips of it. Okay, so as we are taking the strips of it, that is the firm contact, and at the bottom the same metal back contact is there. Okay, now along with that there is an anti-reflective coating is there. Why? Because the whatever the reflections are there from the sun, for example, and internally they may be reflection. So that internal reflection doesn't go out, and there is a loss of photon energy. That's why making an anti-reflective surface such that as the photon or the light is incident in the form of solar, for example, sun is getting you light, it will be coming on the surface, and the sum of the part will be reflecting back. So to just block that, we are using this anti-reflecting surface. Okay. After that, you have got our p n-type material as well as you have got the junction from where actually the entire process will be conducted. So now materials that are used in the construction of the solar cell, the materials which are used for the purpose of the band gap is close to 1.5 electrovolt as the energy of the photon of the sunlight we usually get. So whatever we have studied that whatever the lights are coming from the sun, okay, that photons are having almost single photon. What is a photon? Photon is the smallest packet of that light. That is having energy almost equivalent to 2 electrovolt. Okay, and how much we are setting up the band gap? It is 1.5 electrovolt. So this light is coming, how much electron cost to jump up? 1.5, but how much we are providing? 2 electrovolts. So all the electrons would be jumping to the higher energy levels. Okay. So now the materials that can be utilized are silicon, gallium arsenide, copper, indium, and selenium. So these are the basic fundamental materials that are utilized for the construction of the solar cell. Now, working on the solar cell with the energy band diagram. Now you can see that what happens usually when the electrons are flowing, so you are giving the sufficient energy and they are going from the bottom, that is from the valence, you can see that, to the conduction band. But the thing is that what will happen when the electron is going up, now the electrons that are on the p side, okay, will be repelling from going from this end to this end. Okay, so they will actually not allow to go. So what they do, they take the other part, that is from the load. So they will no doubt come back to the p type via help of what? Via help of the. Okay, so this is how the working of the solar cell will work. Here is the energy band diagram. See, individual energy band diagram we have studied, but when we are combining it, because of the depletion region, you can see that slope is created. So that is just because of the result of the depletion region. Now, the parameters of the solar cell. So before that, we will go with the VI characteristics. Ideally, that blue line is there. That is nothing but I max P and I max V max P are the ideal characteristics. But in real time, we get that yellowish portion. Okay. In that you got 2 points. That is ISC in the short circuit current and open voltage or open circuit voltage. What are these 2 points? Let us discuss in the parameters. So the current output when the load impedance is very small, that is called as a short circuit current. So you can see that if the impedance is very small, that is almost the closed circuit. So all the current will flow through it. That's why it is known as it is a short circuit current. Now we can also gain from that the voltage output, although output voltage when the load impedance is very high. Let's see, when the resistance is very high across, you will get the maximum voltage. So that will, as a high resistance will just replicate what? Open circuit. And less impedance will be replicating what? That is the short circuit. So it is said that it will be open circuit voltage. So now the product of the open circuit voltage and the short circuit voltage will be giving you the ideal power output. That is usually P ideal is equal to VOC plus into ISC. But actually that you are getting actual power that is just less than that. And what is that power said as? P max equals to Vm into Im. So you always need to differentiate, that is the P ideal value and the actual value. Now from that we can also get the film factor. Now what is the film factor of the solar cell? It is defined as film factor equals to from the P max upon Im. That is nothing but usually what we do. We always compare the two things, and always that one is the actual and another thing is the ideal. So film factor is nothing but the actual value and the ideal value comparison. So from film factor can be also, now we are replacing the P max and P ideal value, that is Im into Vm upon Isc into Voc. So now efficiency of the solar cell can be defined from this only, that is eta is equal to Vm Im, that is the actual value, upon the incident light power. That is always output upon input. What is the input? Input is nothing but the incident light power, and what is the output generated? That is an ideal one. Not not the ideal one, but the actual value, that is Vm into Im. Okay. So the efficiency of the solar cell usually is between 15 to 20%. Now there are some losses also in the solar cell. Which kind of losses are the of the material in the solar spectrum? Okay, that can give you a loss. Total spectrum of the solar cell is not absorbed. Yes, we know that, because see, the efficiency is almost 15 to 20%. So maximum we are just losing it out. Lastly, less intensity of the light and reflection loss of light. Now because of the buildings that can happen, because of the seasonal change also this thing can happen. Now let us go through the remedies for the same. So first remedy can be done, that is the proper selection of the material to increase the efficiency of the solar cell. Second, solar cell can be made thicker for more absorption of the light. Lastly, anti-reflection coating on the top is done such that the reflective problem is solved to increase the absorption. And the optical path length can be increased by the surface texturing or the light trapping methodologies. these are some remedies for the problem that we are actually facing. Now let us discuss what are the merits and the demerits. So first we will start with merits. So for this type of the conversion, the input energy is available at no cost. Obviously, this is entirely free. The process is free from the pollution. And last, no maintenance cost is there. Now the see, maintenance cost is there, but overall when you compare with the other things, there compared to that or whatever the conventional systems are there, compared to that the maintenance cost is almost negligible. Now last we are going with the demerits. Demerits will tell you the input solar energy is not always constant but changes with time. That is the day and the season. So seasonal, for example, rainy season you are getting comparatively less output. Summers you are getting comparatively higher. The module requires a large area to be installed, so practically see we are getting short of the areas only. But this methodology, so we can, instead of not we are getting open ground, we will be using the rooftops of the buildings. The solar cell has comparatively very low efficiency conversion. That is almost 15 to 20%. But the thing is that when we are getting the solar energy in such a great abundance, and that is also free, then this point is not that much accurate. So this was the demerits and merits. Now let's see the application. The foremost application is the use of the photovoltaic power plants as a standalone grid connected system. So our entire grid systems for the supplying the households and everything can be reliable on the solar cell. Then use for the domestic lighting also, that is the water pumps as well as TV, mobiles and towers. Used in the battery charging station, and lastly used for the medical application. Okay, so these are the few applications of the solar cell, and comparatively it has got a wide range, but we have just segregated this. There are the generalized one. So hope you have got this thing very well. It is also used in the power aircrafts as well as used in the street light in the rural areas, as well as used in the domestic applications, that was used in the households, used in the water drip irrigation system also. So the basic concept of the solar cell is that first of all it is getting free of cost, the maintenance is very less, and you will get a wide range of the application for the same. Hope you guys have understood this session very well. See you in the next session.